Hey guys, it's Power Guy 1030. Today I'm just going to be showing you how I'm making these headers here for my rockets. These are just small shells. These ones haven't been pasted yet, but these are pretty much the shell before it's pasted. So this one's actually a little bit longer than the first one I made. So for the tube, I'm using this spiral wound tube. I'm not sure where I got this, but you could roll your own, and it's pretty thin. I can squeeze it pretty easily. So first I basically figure out how long to cut them. So if I wanted to make it this long, I cut it a little longer on each side because these ends are gonna be folded down to make the end plugs. So once I have this, I take my scissors and I just cut. It doesn't have to be exact. And I could make them longer after in case they're not long enough, but just go, half an inch or so. That one, I cut it right there. So these, and then I just test them by folding them down. So this side, since it has a little tiny hole, I could use that for the fuse, and then this will be the other end. So we'll want to make these cut a little deeper. So, and these are, I wouldn't use this if I was making shells to shoot out of a mortar tube, but these are real quick and easy to make, just to go as a header on a rocket. So this side's cut, so we'll just make sure these are long enough. And I have my hot glue gun plugged in right now, so that looks good because there's almost no gap there. So we'll take all those after we cut them, we'll fold them out. So we got tube open. Okay, so now we need to make little cardboard plugs. So I'll be taking this, and I just set it down on a piece of cardboard, cut a circle. So I'm going to do that over here off camera real quick. I could do it on camera. I cut. I'm actually going to be gone backpacking for this 4th of July, so I will be shooting off my shells and rockets, but they will not be on the 4th, so kind of a bummer, but I've been really wanting to go backpacking lately, so, and that was the only day that really worked with my schedule, so I got that circle on there. We'll cut this one out. And I don't follow the line exactly because we're actually going to be using this on the inside of the tube, so it needs to be just a tad smaller. Okay, so there's one, and let's test it just to make sure it fits in there, which it does. So now we'll make another one. I'll take this, and I just put it on the edge so I don't have to cut as much cardboard out, or waste as much cardboard. The forum that I've been using for a lot of the information on these fireworks, has been very helpful. The name of it is APC, which is Amateur Pyrotechnic Community, I believe. And there's just lots of good information on there, and other people who are amateur hobbyists like myself. So good people to talk to, good information, and it's really easy, to find what you need. So, okay, let's see if this one fits. That's a little too big, so I'll trim it down. Like I was saying, for these small shells, it doesn't really need to be exact. Okay, so we'll see. That one fits. It's a little tight, but it'll work. Okay, so now we need to make our hole for the fuse. And I have a 1/8 inch drill bit here, and I just try to find about the center. Alright, and this is some fast pink fuse, and this will be like our time fuse for the shell. The reason why we want it to burn fast is because right after, I think, let's see, where is one of these is already rocket motor ready to go. Huh. No. There it is. Okay. But basically, once the fuel burns up to the delay fuel, it'll burn just a little bit, and then the fuse here will pass fire to the shell. And we want that to be almost instantaneous. We don't want any more delay. So I got my fuse cut, which I always make a little longer than I'll need it. And then take my hot glue gun, and I just put a bead of glue around there. Bead of glue. I twist the fuse, I push it in and pull it back out just to kind of seal up that hole. We don't want fire passing through. And there's not much of an issue here with that, just because there's no lift charge for the shell. So I gotta let that dry for a second. The stars I'm using in this shell, I've used, this one was my pink stars that I came up with for the composition. This is a D1 glitter shell. This was a glitter composition that I had that had no labeling on it, so I tested it in the star gun, and it's like a glitter, so that's mystery glitter. And we're using Winokur stars, Winokur 13, which is a glitter composition. These are actually pretty big for this size shell, so we'll kind of get an idea of if we need to make these stars smaller, for this size shell, or bigger. The burst is going to be the meal coated rice holes, which is my first batch ever, so we will see how that works. I haven't tested them out in a shell yet, so this is probably just about dry. Alright, so with the ends flared like that, let's see which one, figure out which one's the top and which one's the bottom. I would say top and bottom. So this will go in. Oop. That's the only thing about making these, by hand, is they're not perfect. So this cardboard disc is not going to fit perfectly. And I'm just using another tube that has a smaller inner diameter so we can push that up evenly. Alright, so we got that. Pull all these flaps back. Grab my glue gun. Gonna need another glue stick soon. And then I just put a bead of glue along the edge here. And then I put a little more just to seal this hole. So there's that. And we can fold our first flap down, and then just each one will lay over the other one until we get to the last. And as we push this down, it'll force the glue out of the hole where the fuse is at, like right there. And then I take the same tube I used before, just to flatten this out. And you can see the glue is coming out there. So I also have this rammer. I think I used to use this for like 2-inch shells or something. So it has a hole drilled in the middle, so I'm going to use that around the fuse just to keep that top spot nice and flush so it sits nice against the top of the rocket. And this glue's still nice and wet, nice and hot. And once we paste this, you know, this shell will be solid, but for now, that top spot's going to be our end plug. Alright, so we'll open up these flaps. This fuse is still pretty long, so I'm going to trim a little bit. These scissors are very dull. So it doesn't go quite all the way to the top. Okay, so now I'm going to take my stars and put one in right there. The next one's going to go on the other side, but is also close. And push it all the way down. Now we got 2. I should be able to fit 3 stars in here by keeping the fuse in the middle of the shell. There we go. So we got 3 stars in there. Somewhat symmetrical. Okay. So now we're going to take our meal coated rice hulls. You could also use granulated black powder. That's what I used at first for shells this size. And then I just tap it to get all that consolidated. So there's not much space is left. And grab a little more. A little bit more. Okay. Tap that down. I can take this and then push it in there. Pack everything down nicely, and now we can take our next row of stars. And we're just going to do the same thing that we did before. So we got one here. And this should give us a nice even burst. I mean, it's not going to be the best because then again it is only about like an inch or an inch and a half shell. So, and then the same thing again with the meal coated rice hulls. So the reason why I'm not doing another ball shell is because these the can shells weigh about 30-35. This shell, you know, which hasn't been pasted, weighs already about 40 grams. So and it only has 6 stars in it of the same size. So these are actually able to fit the same amount with less weight. I don't know if that's from the hemispheres, instead of using the single piece of tube here. So now we're gonna got it all in there. Take our second cap. This one I'm actually gonna trim a little bit more because seems like it's a little on the bigger side. Throw the rice hulls away. Okay, let's see how that fits. There we go, that one's nice and snug, not too snug. So I just push that in there. There's a little bit of a gap there between the top where these will fold down. And then our hot glue gun, which needs another glue stick. And we'll do the same thing that we did with the top of it. Just put a bead along here, rather large on this side because it doesn't have a fuse in it, so we're going to fill this whole gap. You see a nice amount of hot glue, and I'm just going to rotate this so the glue can coat the entire surface, and it is really hot, so I don't want to push this down yet. Here's a bunch of tubes. These are all tubes for the rockets. They're all about 3.5 inches long, and they have 3/8 of an inch inner diameter. So that's cooled down just a little bit now, so we're going to start laying our flaps down. And I'm going to make a later video showing how I paste these shells. I have some craft paper, gummed craft tape coming in, not tomorrow but the next day, and I'm gonna try that because lately I've just been using Elmer's glue, or no, I've been using Titebond glue, and that seems to work, but it's just a tedious process for shells of this size. So that just gets pressed down, and you just hold it there. That's pretty much it. These are just labeled so I know which one's which. Hopefully I'll be doing some shells soon with lift cups on them where they're not going up with a rocket. So yeah, the only problem about using this hot glue in such a big space here is once I let go, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it starts to move back just because that glue is still hot. So I'm going to write down what this one is. It's Win number 13. I don't know if you guys can see that, but Winokur 13. So, alright, that's pretty much it. Top's done, bottom's done. Just need to be pasted. So let's sway these and just get a comparison. Oh, you can see the scale today. So here's the pink 2-inch ball shell. About 39 grams. Mystery glitter, 33. D1 glitter. Wow, that one's only 26. And the Winokur 13. About 30 grams on the dot, 30.1. So they're all about the same size. other than the ball shell weighing in about 40 grams. So, and using these rockets, I've gotten these 2-inch ball shells off the ground. I don't feel comfortable with, you know, getting the max lift weight of these rockets. Don't want them popping on the ground. So that's pretty much it. I'll probably have another video soon up of me pasting these, and yeah, have a great day, guys.